It's incredible to think that some of the oldest structures ever built by humans have stood the test of time. To this day, ancient buildings can be found scattered across our planet, helping archaeologists to uncover some of the secrets of our past. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 interesting things that people have built and what willpower can achieve. Ferdinand Cheval built this magnificent palace one pebble at a time, starting in 1879. It all started with a pebble. Ferdinand Cheval, known by his neighbours simply as a postman, lived a quiet life in rural France. That was until one fateful day in 1879, when along his daily walk he tripped on a rock. This typically mundane event was the turning point in Cheval's life as he knew it. He remembers fondly how he was instantly struck by the stone's bizarre and yet picturesque shape. He slipped the stone into his pocket and carried on. This stone would be the first building block of the now famous Palais Ideal. Palais Ideal, or Ideal Palace, sits in the middle of a once overlooked French town in Odate. Though made merely of pebbles, the structure is an awe-inspiring sight, built in the form of a regal castle. Inside it houses a detailed event. The scene quickly attracted the attention of the world. Over 120,000 visitors per year travel from around the globe to catch a glimpse of the monument. Even renowned artists like Max Ernst and Picasso have taken trips to see the wonder. However, Cheval's creation was not immediately appreciated, especially by his neighbours. In his memoir, he wrote that tongues started to wag in my hometown and surrounding area. They quickly made their minds up. He is an old fool who fills his garden with stones. This never caused Cheval to waver. He held steadfast on his mission, and he memorialized this by embedding a plaque into the wall of the building that said, "With this rock, I wanted to prove what willpower can achieve." The true beauty and awe of this artistic creation lie with Cheval's backstory. He was not a trained artist or architect by any means. Born in 1836 to a lower-class family, Cheval had limited resources and lacked education. No one taught him how to build or even the basics of art. While historians and artists alike remain stumped on how he was able to create something so magnificent, Cheval claims that he was guided by prophetic visions. The first guidance he received was in the form of a dream. In his memoir, he claims that one night he awoke from a vivid dream in which he had built a castle from rocks. This dream caused him to uproot his entire life, leave his home and wife behind, only to mysteriously reappear after 6 long years. Cheval refuses to reveal exactly what he did during this time or even where he went. However, once he returned, he began to create his unforgettable masterpiece. Kelvin Odate Cruikshank built his car from scratch. When Kelvin Odate Cruikshank was only 10 years old, he discovered his passion for building cars. The bright young man from Accra, Ghana, claims, "From the beginning, when I started with the project, many people thought I was going mad. They were saying, how can a young Ghanaian boy build a car? This was madness to them." Cruikshank began working on the Kelvin-mobile when he was just 15 years old, before he could even get a driver's license. Those people have had to eat their words as they watch Cruikshank drive around them with the car he built entirely from scrap. "I decided to make my car because I realized I had the passion for creating machines and I wanted to make something beyond what I had done before," Cruikshank said. Cruikshank's family could not be prouder. Even more so, he has become somewhat of a local celebrity as he receives praise from strangers he passes by. Driving around in his car, his ingenuity and initiative are finally recognized. Growing up on a low income in a rural town, he did not pick up his skills easily. The small town did not have a single mechanic as hardly anyone owned a car. He learned every piece of knowledge on his own through trial and error and the internet. The hardest parts of the car to build was the frame, the chassis, and the engine seat. These parts were made from iron rods, square pipes, and round pipes. They were made to provide the vehicle with good strength to prevent accidents, Cruikshank explained. To get started, he would sift through trash bins to pick up pieces that others had deemed useless. These seemingly worthless pieces of metal would create the foundation for his running car. Cruikshank took up several jobs to fund his project and would visit the local scrapyard to find everything he needed. In total, Cruikshank estimates that the car cost less than $3,000. His jaw-dropping innovation has led many people to rightfully compare him to engineer genius Elon Musk. According to Cruikshank, he could not be more honoured. Madrid man builds cathedral from junk. This Spanish church beautifully resembles many other prominent historic churches that are scattered across Spain. What sets it apart from the rest is that it was made single-handedly by an elderly man almost entirely out of junk. Justo Jaleo, or Don Justo, as the locals call him, was the architect, designer and construction team for this amazing building, and at the ripe old age of 85. Despite his amazing talents, Justo claims to have no prior expertise in these fields. As a statement on the wall of his church clearly states, Justo Jaleo is not an architect or a bricklayer with any training related to construction. Justo even lacks a primary education as his studies were abruptly ended by the Spanish civil unrest. You don't need to study, you just need strength. It all comes from above, he reasons. Despite these barriers, he managed to build a beautiful structure that towers above its surrounding apartment blocks at an incredible height of 131 feet. It features magnificent spires and a giant dome tower laced with intricate detail. Justo is no stranger to hard work. Citing Christmas as a rare day of rest, Justo has worked tirelessly his entire life without much regret. At 6 a.m. each day, he begins his toil, driven by his faith. My mother was very pious. She taught me my faith, and I love the church, so I put everything into this. Justo claims his inspiration comes from an amalgamation of different famous buildings. From the Vatican to the White House, Justo finds his designs effortlessly. All the details, Justo says, are in my head. What is possibly the most grandeur element of his creation is the expansive central dome. The focal piece to the church took 20 years to finish and remains surrounded by 24 more incomplete cupolas. While the size and scope of the church is not entirely unheard of in Spain, what makes this religious structure impeccable is that it has been entirely built out of recycled materials. Every morning, Justo begins his day at 4 a.m. by collecting bricks and broken tiles that have been tossed aside from nearby factories and construction zones. He proves that one man's trash is truly another man's treasure. The columns that hold up the high domed ceilings of the church were formed by using empty oil drums. Many elements of the structure are composed entirely of trash. An entire cupola is made of empty food containers. People have called me crazy and insulted me, but they're ignorant, Justo explains confidently. When I look at what I've created, it overwhelms me, and I give thanks to the Lord. Justo gives all the glory to God, but also appreciates his most loyal building companion, Angel Lopez Sanchez. The pair worked tirelessly on the church together, but Sanchez was not immediately convinced of Justo's success. Sanchez explains that when he first learned of Justo and his project, he thought the place was a ruin and Don Justo was a tramp. Despite their rough beginning, Sanchez continues to work on the church to this day and says that he is very content. He claims to have decorated nearly 100 stained glass windows, but exclaims that there are roughly 1,000 more to complete. But this is all Justo's work and his ideas, Sanchez beams. I'm just his disciple. While the church remains a beautiful sight to behold, there lies within an unfortunate truth. The church may never be fully realized in Justo's vision. Covered with unfinished windows, the central dome remains within a cover and the floor lays bare. Staircases spiral up in a beautiful display of progress, but end abruptly mid-air. What is more, is even after the structure is visually completed, it may not be allowed to serve as a church. There are many standards and regulations for what can be considered safe for occupants. Husto, being without architectural or construction expertise, has not followed these guidelines. A local council member claims that many areas are not up to code. For example, the bricks do not meet minimum standards, either in themselves or the way they have been laid. Despite this, Husto emphasizes that he has no regrets. "If I lived my life again, I'd build this church again, only bigger, twice the size," he gleams with pride. "I do it for faith." That's clear, no? But what do you make of these 3 accomplishments? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.